Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Frank and this is the E30 M3 S54 project. Today we're going to be working on the headliner installation from CATuned. Thank you very much to Igor for providing that headliner to us. In today's video, what we're going to do is install the headliner. We're going to show you all the little tips and tricks on how to install it into this particular E30 M3, but it applies to all E30 models as well. In today's episode, we're going to install the headliner. We're going to be gluing it. We're going to be cutting the sunroof open as well for that location. And in the next video, or a couple videos after that, we're probably going to end up installing the sunroof in order to clamp everything down. So guys, thank you very much for watching and stay tuned. Okay, thank you to Igor at CATuned for providing this German cloth. There's a Euro cloth and there's a German cloth headliner. This is the German cloth headliner and it is a foam-backed headliner. It's not very thin. It is got a little bit of foam thickness on the back, and that's okay. That can really help to stretch the fabric around the tight corners in order to get it to install. What else you need is a sunroof. If you have a slick top, ignore this part, but there is a sunroof section that they provide, and you need to glue that on as well. We'll do that in a separate video. And we also have, of course, all of the factory alignment bars that that hold this thing up in place. This bar in particular is important because it's got one loop here, but then it's got this little piece. That piece has a little jacket that slips over the other side, and that's the only way to install it is through that jacket. So we've got 3 bars here we have to install onto this thing before we put it in. So what we'll do is install that and then put the headliner in. We also have this guy. This is particular to M3. This goes up along the C-pillars. And essentially what that does is it allows the, first of all, it's the extended roof line that you really need to be aware of, but it also has housing for the third brake light, which is located up in the roof instead of down below, above the rear deck lid like it is on the regular E30s. So we gotta just clip that in. I replaced the clips already. These are just regular clips that, that go on all the E30 door panels, actually. So there's tons of them, and they're very, very cheap. So we'll install that. Then we'll get the headliner in and, oh, one more thing. Before we start with the actual installation, I wanted to just show you one more thing. This guy here is like a foam pad, and it's very important that this gets installed because this actually is what the sunroof material will adhere to. Not adhere to because you're not spraying it, but it'll be hugged up against it. And that's where the bars that go across actually install as well. So you have to make sure that this thing actually gets installed. What it also allows you to do is that foam board goes on the inside of this, and it allows the material to come around and kind of grip down on this. So without that, you're just doing it right on the metal edge, and that's no good, right? That metal edge is bad. So that's what this is supposed to do. The material comes in and it kind of folds over, and that's what that foam board is really supposed to do. So now we have that, we can easily start installing the headliner with the metal rods. It's either, it's good that it's gonna be a little easier. This is the So we've got this laid upside down. This here, upside down, is toward the rear of the car. This here is toward the front of the car. As you can see, we're gonna be cutting this out for the sunroof. And this one here has a little piece that needs to be installed, and that is going toward the rear of the car. So you install that, and then you put the little clip on that. This one here is a symmetrical looking guy, and that one installs here. And what happens is, this one actually gets installed. We're gonna have to cut a couple pieces out of here in order to get this to clip inside of the roof line. There's like a couple of metal clips you have to bend around it to hold this up. So this guy is gonna twist around into place on that foam board. And this one here, you're gonna cut 2 pieces out of here and it's gonna clip in. That. And this is where we need to make our cuts, right here and right here. So now this guy, it's installed like this. So now we've got that. Now we take this whole bar and we twist it around. I'm gonna need another set of hands here. All right, so here we are underneath, and this is stretched real nice. I stretch it on both sides just to make it nice and taut. So that's done. And now, as you can see here, we need to cut this out here, and and then we can bring this up and snake it on. In fact, we probably could just do that now, but I did bring a knife just in case. And if I were to just like, give it like a little slit right here, just like that, right? I'll do it on both sides, see if I can do it both sides. And this guy slips in there like that, and then you just curl it up into it. So that's basically it, and I can't do that with one hand, so I'll be back and show you what I did. All right, so that guy's in and curled around, and so is that one. And now what we can do is we can take this, put the other rod in the bottom, and that guy goes and connects into these right here. There's one there, and there's one here. And that'll kind of just like hold this thing and drape this underneath. That allows us to do the gluing on the outside perimeter, which we'll do next. It's just kind of sitting in there, but I'm not really worried about this because we're actually going to cut all this out because there's all sunroof mechanism that needs to go in there. We do need to start stretching the fabric around the outside here and glue it. Ooh, I see it just fell. But we have to glue the fabric all along here and in here, because that's what's really preventing us from putting this window in, is preventing us from putting the rear deck lid in, is getting this thing glued in. So we'll be able to glue that in, and then of course the back. So let's start off with the back. So we've got our headliner installed. We've got our wiring snaked down here for the interior lights on both sides. We've got our oh shit handle hardware built in and put back in here. That's what these blocks are. One there and one there. And we'll be able to find out where those oh shit handles install, or shall I say grab handles. Now this is what I'm using. This is a 3M high strength 90 contact adhesive. The 90 is really important. That defines the strength. This is really, really good for headlining material, and it works really well with the foam backing. Now this is what I'm using. This is a 3M high strength 90 contact adhesive. The 90 is really important. That defines the strength. This is really, really good for headlining material, and it works really well with the foam backing. Now what we want to do is, we'll start off at the center and we'll work our way out. So we're gonna start here. Obviously we're gonna cut the taillight later, so I'm not worried about that, but we wanna give it a good stretch against that one bar that we had under here. When we get that good stretch there, we're gonna fold it over, and then we're gonna cut, right? Later after it dries, we're gonna cut, and then we're gonna push the remaining amount inside of this little lip, because this is actually a glue rear sunscreen, not a lock strip version like on the normal E30. So this is actually gonna sit inside of this little groove. And that is why I taped this, is because we're gonna end up putting our windshield urethane on this when we install the windshield later on down the road. But for now, we're just gonna peel that off. That way I don't have to be too careful about where I spray. So I'm just gonna spray just like this. And now we kind of just wanna let it sit for a bit until it gets tacky. We're gonna give it a good pull and over. And what we're gonna do is put this there like that, because the wood plank helps to distribute the load, so I'm not making dimple marks in the, there we go. 1 and 2. Excellent. Now that the primary headliner is done, We need to now make the hole here for the sunroof. So this part of the headliner actually makes me the most nervous because there's a lot of really tight radius turns that you need to overlap the headliner material around and fold it over. So there's a lot of finesse that's required here. And you also need to really make sure that when you draw your line and start cutting your hole, you cannot undo the cut. So you want to make sure that you're very conservative with where you put your cuts. You want to use a really good clean knife for this. Brand new knife. And then you just start I am not doing sharp edges here. All right, see that? See how everything's rounded? I made a slit here, and that's where you're going to take this fabric and you're going to stretch it over, and it's going to kind of look like this. All right, so you're going to take this and stretch it over just like that. But before you do that, you have to go underneath and figure out how it looks. So it doesn't look bad. There's a little bit of a tiny bit of a crinkle there, so that's what we need to address. So what we're going to do is we are first going to spray under here and under here, and we're going to pull it up first. Then we'll do the pullover later. So this really we're not going to really need because there's going to be that front visor piece that's going to kind of clip over it. So this is a lot of this is going to get cut off, which is why I'm not focusing too much on this corner, because there's going to be a vinyl piece that kind of comes up over that and screws onto this and is captured by a bracket. So I'm not really concerned about this. I want to make sure that this, and especially these two back corners, are held in place really good. Once I remove all of these in a few minutes after the glue has hardened up, I can start peeling this back, giving it another glue, another once over, and then start cutting it off and trimming it back. And then the sunroof panel is just about done, and it'll look a lot cleaner after it's done. So while we wait for a lot of that stuff on the sunroof to dry, I did a couple of the grab handles in the back. I did both of these. And now I'm going to do this one. So this one actually has a slightly different type of grab handle. In fact, this one here does not have a little knob on it or a little coat hanger thing on it. That's how you know that this one is for the passenger side. And what you want to do is you want to feel, see right here, I'm feeling for that knob there, or that little bracket that I put in there. It's like a backing plate, and I know there's another one right there. So that's still in place. And now all I have to do is find it and make sure that I can get these screw holes to sit inside, and then I can just start screwing it. Once I can get one down, I got all the other three because everything is basically in position relative to each other. I think I got it. Because I'm in the same general vicinity of where this is going to end up living. So that piece is going to be covered up, that black piece is going to cover up these screw holes anyway. It's tight. It's tight. Take these and then they just naturally just kind of clip in. Listen to this, ready? Oh, it feels so good. Listen, ready? Oh, so good. Nice. Okay. Back to the sunroof here. As you can see, I did this side. This is all nice and taut. I did that one too. That's nice and taut. And now, this glue is now dried. I can take these guys off. And now look how stretched that is. Look how nice that looks. Yeah, there's a little bit of dust on it, but we can get the dust off. Let me see the front, which again, is not as critical because we're gonna have that visor panel in there. That's nice. Very nice. Very nice. And of course, what kind of a video would this be if we didn't have a surprise to show you guys? Ruben had got this really cool carbon fiber themed rear license plate filler, and it is really cool. And I wanted to show you guys what this thing is and what it looks like. Wow. Now this whole E30 M3 is going to be carbon fiber themed, as you probably know. The Evo wing is carbon fiber, that's carbon fiber, and of course, our tank down there is carbon fiber, hydro dipped. We're gonna have carbon fiber all over this thing, and of course, you don't even wanna know what the interior is gonna look like, but it will be amazing. So yeah, this is pretty cool. This is a nice rear plate filler, and I think it's gonna complement the theme for this Hartke build really nicely. Guys, that just about does it for me on this E30 M3 S54 build. Many thanks to Igor at CATuned for providing this German cloth headliner here. Installation was a breeze, so thank you so much for CATuned for helping us out on this build. Stay tuned for part 2 of this, if you will. Part 1 was the headliner installation, but part 2 is going to tie all of this in together with the sunroof installation, the brackets, the sunroof, the headliner on the sunroof we're going to do as well, and that front visor panel, which is going to cover a lot of that stuff up near the front by the windshield. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. My name is Frank from Garageaholic. Please tell your friends, like, and comment below. Later.